While no mindset, action, or habit can guarantee an awakening experience, there are certain dispositions that can increase your chance at experiencing spiritual awakenings. Hi there, I'm Anne-Katrin, and I'm occasionally awake. I'm here to help you inspire your awakenings, heal yourself, and reawaken your life. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Here are the 4 puzzle pieces to your mindset that can help turn your life into a series of spiritual awakenings of all 4 types. Number 1, flexibility. Mental flexibility is the first prerequisite to experiencing more awakenings. As an awakening is a shift in perspective and in perception, we really need to be open and curious to bend our mind, our worldview, our identity. Whenever our ego identity is threatened in its current setup, meaning its logic and beliefs, its first impulse is to pull up the guard on that setup and dismiss any information that would question the dominant logic of our system. As any awakening is a disruption of the status quo, of our dominant logic, of our general state of being and thinking and feeling, our mind needs to be able to be flexible and open and curious enough to accommodate that impulse that can potentially spark an awakening experience. On the other hand, the absence of flexibility obviously doesn't break a fixed mindset. But if it cannot bend at the spark of an awakening, then no actual awakening can be experienced. If the mind is not willing to witness and hold that shift, then no change can occur. That's why we need a flexible, open, and curious mindset to be able to turn that potential awakening spark or impulse into the actual full-on awakening experience. Number 2, self-awareness. You need a high level of self-awareness to spot that awakening spark as it flies by in the first place. Especially with knowledge awakenings, with insights of wisdom and new information, our ego's first impulse to negate or reject that information can be really strong. What I refer to as knowledge awakenings are awakenings to the ego self, awakenings to the matrix, and partly awakenings to the conscious self. A sudden insight, a revelation, go against our current identity configuration by definition. They go beyond what we have thought before. If the new spark of input is too divergent from our usual thinking patterns, it's a threat to our ego identity. This might sound like a complex mechanism, but what this simply means is we hear something and we dismiss it immediately. We say, "Nah, that's not for me. That doesn't make any sense. I don't get that." Without self-awareness, an input or impulse cannot become a revelational insight because we might simply not see or acknowledge it. That moment then cannot become an aha revelational moment, and thus no awakening experience can unfold. A simple mindset shift that can help you accommodate those greater shifts of knowledge-based awakening experiences is to replace the but mindset with an and mindset. So if your first impulse is to dismiss new information that seems to be contradictory to what you're already believing, you might jump to the conclusion, "Oh, that's total BS, and I already know I know better." Instead, take a deep breath and try one of the following sentences. "Oh yes, that does seem contradictory. And how could I find some common ground between my current beliefs and that information? This seems really strange, and I wonder how I could make this meaningful." Turning the but mindset into an and mindset can be the first important step to raising your level of self-awareness and open the gates to acknowledging those revelational sparks and insights and impulses that can turn into your next awakening experience. I'm so glad you're here right now. So if you enjoyed this, please make sure to like and subscribe to become occasionally awake with me. Number 3, mindfulness. Mindfulness is another thing required to experience awakenings. This is not to say that we need to meditate all day, every day, and breathe in solitude. That's not what I mean. As I proclaim the value of occasional awakenings rather than a lifelong devotion to reaching the Great Awakening, I like to think of this as islands of mindfulness that we can create in the middle of our everyday lives. Many people do this in the form of morning routines or evening routines, of daily or regular self-care rituals that include movement or stillness, music, and any form of creative expression. Of course, any moment of every day that we live on this planet deserves the same amount of presence and mindfulness. And so the ultimate notion of mindfulness is not limited to islands of time. Instead, it's about cultivating presence in the now, whatever that now might currently look like. It's about meeting what is with curiosity and attention rather than with judgment and distraction. The absence of mindfulness is often characterized by monotony, automation, thoughtless action, urgency, and repetition. It happens when we rush through our routines, our habits, our work, our chores. When we hurry to tick the to-do boxes and meet the many endless demands of everyday life. When we are in the middle of living our personal version of normal, there is often little space for new information and inspiration, for creative impulses. Whenever we are in that mindful state, however, we are open and receptive to those new creative impulses that introduce tiny sparks of something new. In that state of mindfulness, we are more willing to curiously look at and follow what presents itself to us. In order to get into that mindful state, try to practice presence in whatever situation you find yourself in. Try to avoid multitasking and try to indulge in the sensual pleasure of taking a walk in nature, of drinking a cup of tea, of listening to music, of moving your body, or of breathing deeply. Any break, any pause, any non-activity between to-dos and work and chores and habits and routines is an invitation to our mind and spirit to wonder, to dream, to explore, to expand. Number 4, initiative. So last thing you need for an awakening mindset is initiative. See, once an awakening experience has ceased, most of them do, it requires us to change something about our current way of living. It requires us to integrate that experience so that the state of presence and meaningfulness that we have experienced during the actual awakening moment can continue to inspire and positively influence our present. As an awakening is a shift in perception and perspective from our current status quo to something else, it is disruptive, it introduces change, and that means that the integration process that is required after the actual awakening experience most often gets us out of our comfort zone. It requires us to move beyond our comfort zone, which can be scary and sometimes even appear illogical. One way we can help ourselves facilitate that process is to get back into the awakened state mentally. Wallow in the memory of the feeling. That feeling of truth and clarity and inspiration and bliss and connectedness that constitutes an awakening experience. Know that if you follow these feelings with integrity, you might be leaving your comfort zone, yes, but in exchange for a totally new way of being. Got any occasional awakenings yet? Let me know in the comments below which of these 4 mindset shifts you have already mastered and which one needs a little more of your attention. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you want more insights on the 4 types of awakenings and how to experience them in your life occasionally, visit me at occasionallyawake.com to inspire your awakenings. Bye.